Right. So, Neil, I assume you got back pretty late from Nottingham the other night. So, how glad are you of the extra 24 hours to prepare with the game being moved back?
Well, we're glad, but I think if you ask me next Saturday lunchtime, how glad this is your third game in 6 days, Neil, I might have a go at the fixture list. So you can't really win, Mark, on that. It's you have to do what you got to do. If you come up tops, you've got a bit of an advantage, and if not, you haven't. I think we're up against it this week with the 3 games. But when we looked at doing the Rotherham game, until the end of March, almost, we couldn't fit it in anywhere. So we thought we might as well get it out of the way now.
This is where the mindset comes in that you've talked about often enough, isn't it? About, we've just got to get on with it, be it fixtures, be it transfers, be it injuries, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, it's given one or two of the other lads a chance to come into the fore as well. So, it's great to have that win behind us from the other night, going into this. Two tough games. I think Blackburn have probably played better away from home at times this year. So they got some really good forwards, and I think we're looking forward to it. I don't think you'll see another. I don't think. I think that was a one-off. I think Birmingham put everything into that game. I think they showed that the other night with the result the other night that they had. To keep that sort of level of the physical side up is very difficult at this level.
When Birmingham came to the Riverside, obviously they were in desperate need of a result and the win that they got. When you look at Blackburn, 6 points behind you, so they're not in any particular danger. But for them, if they're going to get a playoff push going, is time already getting a bit short, do you think?
Well, I think they'll probably be where we thought we might be in that position, if I'm honest. So you've just got to try and keep going and get as many as you can, and without you haven't got much pressure on you when you're in that position. You've just got to go out and try and do your best to get the wins.
You talked about their forward options. They got the best attack in the division. I think they did when you met at Ewood Park, actually. But Adam Armstrong is way ahead of the rest of the team, isn't he? On in the goal scoring charts, he's an obvious danger, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's no wonder there's big clubs, the Premier League clubs looking at Adam. He's got great movement, good finisher, he's got everything in his locker really. So I hope he goes before Sunday.
You'll have come up against Tony Mowbray countless times in the past, obviously a Boro legend, and certainly as a manager you did, and when he was playing, and since he's moved into the dugout. What is there a hallmark to his teams, do you think, the way they play? Do you always know what you're going to get, or is he a bit more adaptable than that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't look at, no disrespect to Tony, I don't look at any managers really. I look at the way that they play from our stats people that look at it and look at the videos. I don't think there's anything in particular he's going to play that way. I suppose, when you look at people talking about me like Chris the other night, you look at me and think that this is the going to way, that's the way they played us. Apparently we man mark all over the pitch. I didn't know that. I asked Harlotte, could they tell me where we're doing this?
Oh, might work well for you. You might want to try it.
Yeah, I know.
Just on, you mentioned after the match to us on Wednesday night about Johnny Howson, and you said he's the best midfielder I've ever worked with. Now, bearing in mind how long you've been in management, that is some praise. What is it about Johnny that you rate him so highly?
I just think he's got every attribute that you need at the top level. I didn't think he was this good before I came here, if I'm honest. And last season I thought he was a good player, but I didn't think how good he could be. And I think the best is yet to come from him. That's the worrying thing for other teams, because I think he can get better. I think he's got that niche now. He knows where he's playing. He's not playing all over the show at full back, centre half and all that. He's playing to his strengths. He reads the game better than anybody I've known. He's good in the air. He can tackle. He can break forward when he has good possession. He knows when to alehouse it when he ain't got time. He knows when to bring it down and play. He's got all the attributes. I can go on and on if you want. That make you a good player.
And having him back then after that month out, again, it's that little injection you talked about. When Ashley Fletcher comes back, it'll be like a new player. Is it similar with Johnny's return? Yeah,
you tend to forget when they're injured. You tend to forget what they've got, and because we had a good run when John got injured, and then you think, oh, we won't miss him as much. But it catches up then when and so then you can't wait to get him back. It's when you've got him in the team, you realise why you miss him. That's all I can say really about him. He's got all the, when I look back at the players I've had, the good players, your Gunnarsons of this world, they've got certain parts of the game, but not the complete. I think he's got the complete sort of vocabulary, if that's the right word, to play in that role, and that's why I do love him there, me.
And just away from Boro, I'm sure I know you'll keep an eye on what goes on at Cardiff, because you were very fond of the place, weren't you? Obviously, Neil Harris has lost his job in, I think, just yesterday. And a lot of what I read was about how the club had struggled to move out from under your shadow. I mean, it's quite a statement, isn't it, that, all this time later, the effect that you had on the place.
Well, I didn't say too much while Neil Harris was there, but I thought one or two of the comments he made when he first got the job was a little bit detrimental to me. I've got to change the mindsets of these players. They've been used to playing one particular way. What's that, winning? Not wrong with that. I thought he was a bit disrespectful, if I'm honest. And I've heard Mick McCarthy's got the job, so I hope he has. A big mate of mine, and he'll enjoy it. To come back from Cyprus, not bad. I had a 6 weeks holiday there. Got the sack there, and now he's in a good place in Wales, I hope.
Thank you, Neil. Good luck the weekend.
Thank you very much. Keith, where are you? Where is he?
Keith.
Hi, Neil.
I've got you. Carry on, son.
There's a video on, sorry. Neil, when you look at the league table and you look at your squad and how few changes you've made since you've been there in terms of additions, would you say that your team are exceeding expectations?
I would say they're exceeding everyone's expectations, including mine, really. You try and get more out of players, you try and give them confidence, but, when I see a performance like the other night, the quality of the football, the briskness, the passing, the unselfishness, and, I look at Duncan Watmore, and when I looked at the second goal, he's in his own box, and he ends up in their box, and Sav could tap it across to him to put it in. That's not coaching or anything. That's somebody that's determined to die for the cause. That. So it's at the moment we've got a group of lads like that. I know we have as blemishes. I've got to try and eliminate them. You don't mind getting beat by a good team. No disrespect to Birmingham, but we should have done more against them, especially in the first half. So yes, we've got excuses, but they are excuses. We're still 11 fit people out there. So. We've got to get on with it now. On Wednesday, they showed me exactly what I know they can do. And now we've got, 2 home games and then a Norwich game, which I'm really looking forward to Norwich. So, it's a good week for us. A difficult week, but hey-ho, difficult for the teams we're playing against, I think, as well.
When you took this job on, Neil, you said that it's a club that you always wanted to manage. You said it's a chairman you always wanted to work under in Steve Gibson. Despite the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic and everything else you've had to deal with, has the job been as good as you hoped or expected it would be at this stage?
I think if you ask Steve, it's probably got a little bit better than he anticipated. All the times I've been talking to him over the years, I remember at Cardiff, when we got promoted and I spoke to him and he asked me what my wage bill was and I told him and he said, well, mine is 10 million more than that in the Championship. So I've always thought coming up here, Steve Gibson's got a gold mine to give me, and I've come up here and we haven't got out. So it's but I'm not worried about it. I'm enjoying it. It's a great club. He's a great guy. What I've come to work for. I always work better when I'm working for one particular individual, if I'm honest. And the club, it'd be great to get fans in to give them something to cheer at. But I'm hoping that we are helping the fans at home at this moment in time as well, Keith. It's a horrible time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. He's played a blinder there then, by the sounds of things, Steve.
He did,
with his comments.
Yeah.
Just finally from me, just to follow up on what you were saying there on Neil Harris, it sounds like you were a little bit disappointed with some of his comments. Do you think then that, obviously he's only lasted, I think it's 13, 14 months. Do you think that maybe that's sort of come around to sort of prove you right and perhaps prove him wrong?
Keith, if I tell you, throughout my career, I'm 72. How long have I been? Is it 50 or 40? I forget 10 years. I've been a manager so many years now. If I could tell you everybody that I think have made mistakes about me and quoted wrong things about me, I could probably do my own book about that later on when I do call it a day. All these, I'll show them. It drives me on, if I'm honest, Keith. It's Cardiff was very good for me because Cardiff were in a mess when I went there, and we ended up going to the Premier League with a team that nobody thought we could do. And I've got great memories there with Mehmet Delman, who was a super guy. But I wouldn't be up here at Middlesbrough if it wasn't for Rotherham United. Rotherham got me back on another thing. 14 games or whatever it was. Should be relegated, and that was a tremendous escape thing. So it gives me I seem to only get the type of clubs that are in trouble, Keith, and I'm not, I think that's probably the way I am, the type of management that I do. But I do enjoy it. When I stand on the touchline and I watch my team play like they did the other night, wow, I'm purring inside. I might not look it, but wow, am I proud when I see them lads moving it around and creating chances, and I feel really good. Likewise, when I watch the first half against Birmingham, I want to get them in a small room and box their heads together.
Cheers, Neil. Thanks.
Thanks, Keith. Dawn, where are you, Dawn? Yep, got you.
Hi, Neil. Can you see me higher? You were saying that Boro have exceeded expectations this season, but you must wonder where you could be if it hadn't been for the inconsistency. Win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. That must drive you nuts.
Yeah, it's not been, if I'm honest, it's not been so much the last few games. It's been games earlier on, like the Norwich game and the Blackburn game away and a few others like that where I thought quite easily we could have had 8 to 9, 10 points more. I thought, you couldn't argue about us getting beat at Preston and Burnley, and even at Stoke we couldn't muster really anything there. So you can't complain at them. But every team in the league has games like that. There's no team that's going to win every game, and we've just got to try and be a little bit more consistent. But I think it's nice. We do need a few more options on the bench. You look at their bench the other night. I mean, I took a picture of the Stokes bench the other night. It was unbelievable. Klukas, Fletcher, Allen, Joe. That were only 3 of them. And it's incredible, some of the substitutes benches. So, we are going to try and bring a couple in to give us a little bit more the dynamics to change a game when we have to.
And in terms of Ashley Fletcher's return, when do you think that might be?
I don't know. I mean, he's training again today. I think he's training with us today. Ashley wanted to be involved last week. That's how he is. He's dead keen to come. But it's like me with Johnny Howson. I gave him that extra 2, even though I didn't want to give him an extra 2 weeks. I decided to give him extra 2 weeks because they all assured me that he has got this sort of thing in his muscle, and it would help. Another 2 weeks of stretches and things would help. Same with Fletch. I don't really, having missed him for all this time and not looking like we're going to bring anybody else in up front. I think it's vital that he's not rushed, but the sooner we get him back, the better. I don't know. In my own mind, I've got him down for the Norwich game, but I've not seen him training yet today.
And just a word about Britta Songalonga. Scored the other night, back to scoring. It must be great to see him back on the score sheet because he's one of those players that appears to have so much potential but doesn't perhaps quite deliver the number of goals you might like. I noticed he was captain the other night. Do you think, I know it was against his old team, but do you think some players really benefit from being given that extra responsibility of the captaincy as well?
Well, he's been my captain all season, Don. It wasn't just the other night. I think that might be the wrong word. Potential or whatever he was. I mean, he's 28 years old now. He should be the real. It's only in Brit's head what he can do, because when Brit's head's right, he's as good as anything in the league. And when it's not right, he looks a very mediocre player. So it's up to him really. We've got a few of them really at the club, and hopefully they all finish the season, this second half of the season, playing to the strengths and enjoying. I thought the other night we played without any fear. The other night, I thought we enjoyed it. We looked like we'd all turned up at the park, put us kit on and his boots, and off we went in the park and played. That's how I thought we were the other night, and I thought it showed that.
So Brit's contract up at the end of the season. Are you keen to keep him?
Well, I think at the end of the season, you've got to talk to him. I mean, it's quietly known that Britson is our best paid player at the club. And that's no fault of Brit. He did well. Bloody hell, he did do well. I wish I were his agent. He's done well out of the Middlesbrough club. And Middlesbrough, if we got another few months out of him, who knows what it could... If we could get Brit firing for 3 months, who knows where we could be. You're not going to get much better than Brit. So it's no good talking about a new contract with him, yeah? I think that at the end of the day, the money side of the situation, the Championship in the summer, a lot of players will find it not the same place it has been in the last few years. So, we will then talk to these players out of contract if we want them to stay, and give them our realistic offers. If it's not good enough, you lose them, don't you? And that's how it goes. You can't win them all.
Yeah, it's going to be different. Well, just finally for me, in terms of sort of peaking at various points in the season, do you think it's better to sort of peak later than earlier?
I think it's best to peak and win the last 10 games, if I'm honest. And then you're going to get in the playoffs if you win the last 10 on the trot.
Well, let's hope the first ones of that 10 is this weekend. Thanks very much, Neil. Good luck.
Thanks, Don. Chris, where are you?
Hiya, Neil. How are you doing?
Hiya, Chris. Yes, mate.
Just on that point there about Brit, it sounds as if, from what you're saying, he might have to take a pay cut to stay, or he might have to hit some superb
Well, I
form
could
to convince
guarantee,
that he's worth staying.
Chris, I could guarantee you 100% he'd have to take a pay cut if he stayed. 100%, let alone how else. Dear me. So, like I say, you can't blame him for negotiating, or his agent negotiating what his contract is. But those days are gone now in the Championship, I think, anyhow, for most teams. Unless you get the odd one coming down from the Premier League who want to have a go, I think everybody's got to be realistic now. Ashley's the same, Ashley Fletcher's the same. I think their agents think that, if they do this, that and the other, they're going to get offered, fortunes. But I don't think it's going to happen in the summer.
Do you think that is almost a sign of mistakes Middlesbrough have made in the past? There was that big recruitment drive under Gary Monk, and it does feel at times like the likes of yourself and managers gone before you have been left to pick up the pieces.
Well, I think what it shows you is that there's an owner at Middlesbrough that owns the club who's tried like bloody hell to help his managers get success. I do believe, I've said it to him on a few occasions, I wish he'd have rang me about 1 or 2 players. I won't name names, but 1 or 2 players, if he'd have made one phone call to me, I'd have told him not to touch him with a barge pole. But no, they didn't. They signed him, and so they had to learn the hard way. So hopefully in the next few years I can help them, even if it's on the end of a phone.
And just on transfers, I know you were saying that you don't think you're going to get a sort of striker through the door. Are you close on anyone?
No, not really. We've got one. I think we've got one option left as a striker, which would be a possibility, and that would be a loan at the last minute. That's the all. And if not, we will stick with what we've got. I mean, we've got three good strikers when they play, so you can't really have a go. I mean, the other night, if you looked at Forest, the forward line that they finished up with, Taylor and Grabban, Knockout and Amiobi. Are you with me? I mean,
Yeah.
some forward line that. So, you've just got to get on with it and do your best with what you have.
Just a question away from sort of the pitch, and one about Middlesbrough more widely. Obviously, you've been up here for a while now. You've perhaps not seen the best of the area, not having the fans in the stadium. I just wonder how you think COVID is affecting the town.
Well, I think it's like everything else. I think COVID all over the place it's just made everything more depressing, and that's why I've always been a stalwart and that we've got to keep football going at the top 2 levels. It wouldn't surprise me if Division 1 and 2 ended up being frozen out, but I think at the minute we give something back to the area now, and that's why you hope that your players aren't stupid at all and flout these, because one professional footballer does something wrong and it's headline newspapers, isn't it? Whereas hundreds of ordinary folk, no disrespect, it's not. You don't sell newspapers, so we've got a responsibility now. But Middlesbrough's I'm born in Sheffield, and my dad was a steel worker, and you earned every penny. 16-hour shifts my dad worked, before he took me down to Bramall Lane. They earn the money, and all they want to see is the team do well. All they want to see is the team give everything. And if they give everything and they get beat, they're not criticised. Oh well, I mean, some of them on the forum will criticise even if you win. Don't get me wrong on that. I read them, so some of them will give you stick even if you win a game. But in general, that people are so happy to see the team up here and what they're doing. I feel ever so proud of the last few years. When I could, I'd love to go back to Rotherham and see the crowd, and I'd love to go back to Cardiff at the right stage, because I've had some great times with these clubs, and I think I've left them all in better places, and same with Middlesbrough. My time at Middlesbrough, I'm going to try and enjoy to the best of my ability, really, and I know Steve's enjoying it, and I know that the fans, by the majority when I have the fans forums, how much they are. So it's great at the minute, but I don't want us to think it's nice. I want us to win. I want, I'm not here just to make the numbers up and, 3 more games and we're safe. All that bull.
Do you feel a certain amount of pressure, though, because at the moment the fans are having such a tough time and they can't get to the games? They live in an area that isn't the wealthiest, money's tight. Do you feel a pressure that during these COVID times you have to give them something to cheer them up?
I do. I think football's the only thing there is now around the area in that respect. And that's why, I have asked them all to behave sensibly, and then to give the fans something to cheer about when they watch the games. Because I know how many thousands watching the games now. So it's having said that, I can't wait for the fans to come in and get behind me and my team, and make it the fortress that, when you've got fans behind you, even away from. I remember the Middlesbrough fans taking over at Rotherham that day, all across the back, full house it were, and you should have been about 4-0 up that day. And then at half time, I remember sorting my Rotherham lot out and, asking them what they're going to do. Do they want to go and work in the steelworks, or do they want to play football? And we went out second half. We won. I only won 1-0, but we deserved to win second half. And the fans, I never forget them fans at the bottom, the Middlesbrough fans. They were in full voice. And I always think when I'm here, there's nothing better away from home than your fans being there, getting a good result and then thanking them. And, I love punching my fist and giving them a clap and things like that, which you can't do now. So I miss them as much as the players, I think.
And football's such a big part of the local community these days as well.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it always will be. And the sooner, I'm due to have my injection. I'm getting on the doctor now. He's got to get out of my cornwall surgery and see if I can have it up here, hasn't he, really? I ought to have my bloody injection up here now, me.